Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Cape Rugby TV. It's Wednesday night, it's 9 o'clock, and of course we bring you the very best and no, we don't bring you the very worst of Club Rugby. Joining me on the show this evening, Munib Levy, SK Warmers, and of course board member at Western Bronze Rugby. Munib, hoe gaan we meneer?
Goed meneer, en goeienaand vir jou en goeienaand vir die luisteraars.
And Ishmael Dolly. Ish, we haven't seen you on the show much this year. You've been very busy, eh?
That time of the year, we sometimes you know you're not going to spend so much time with the family, so you got to put in as much time before the rugby season kicks off.
But you're also very, very busy at school level.
Definitely, yeah. It's the start of school, and it's registration, it's admin.
Oh, yeah.
But we enjoy it.
Yeah. And Munib, you back full time at work now?
Yeah, work has been very challenging over this past 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
And looking forward to the rugby season.
Yeah. Well, it's right on us now. I mean, this community challenge has hit everybody by force. It's really come quick, as well as of course, the Community Cup is going and the Varsity Cup is going. So it's all rugby now. I mean, this is what we've been talking about for the last couple of months, actually. But in the last couple of weeks, and here it is. It started on Saturday, and we're back into it now.
The season has started. The games has begun.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at some of those results in a second. Ish, at Milnerton, you guys, I suppose, on your side, you're just busy getting ready for pre-season. Eh?
Yeah, we were involved in a sevens tournament at Makassar last week.
Yes, of course.
And we actually preparing for the Helderberg Sevens coming up soon, which we'll chat about later in the show. So our guys are looking forward to these kind of tournaments. I mean, it's mid-February and we're really into rugby. I mean, we've still got another 8-9 months left of the year.
It's going to be long. But I've got no qualms with the story of one plays too much rugby. There's no such thing as too much rugby.
That's we leave that to the scientists. Tim Noakes and them always says they've got to play a certain amount of minutes or games per year, but for us it's right throughout the year.
Yeah, you can't tell it. Okay, try tell that to a player. No, we need you to take a break. Munib?
That's true. I think if you look over the festive season, clubs was hard at trading.
Yeah.
Actually, before the festive season, just took a small break for the festive season, but came first week in January, they were hard at it. I follow quite a few clubs on Facebook, and I can see they're hard at it and they're rearing to go for the season. Very
lekker, yeah. Well, anyway, we went out to Roses over the weekend. Roses United, of course, played against Belhar. Who was at Belhar? Played against Roses United over in Pelican Park. And we've heard so much about this team, but I think a lot of the Boland teams don't get as much coverage as the Western Province teams. So let's catch up now. We're going to take a look at the highlights, of course, the highlights in the match between Roses and Belhar. And we'll start talking a little bit about the community challenge that's in action. Let's check out the action now at Pelican Park in Ebola. Welcome back, folks. Yes, of course, there we go. So, action Belhar against Roses United. Manib, you watched the Roses, of course, last year. I think, was it last year or the year before they played in the Community Cup?
The year before.
Yeah.
They were a very strong team. But if I look at the result today, I mean, Belhar is also a very strong team and they've also prepared well.
Yeah.
So, it's every year, different competitions.
You know, I
Everyone
must say,
prepared differently.
It is completely different, and I think playing away for Belhar, playing in the Boerland was also quite a challenge because, you know, I was watching the game on the side of the field there, and Cheslin Roberts, Aidan Roberts, you work with these guys often-ish of course, at HPC, and it's incredible the high standards that the guys are setting for themselves now.
Well, it all depends, you know. I mean, it's the first game of the season, and different teams have different strategies for these tournaments. Some want to really compete and win the actual tournament, where others use it as preparation for the league. I think both sides would be just happy that they can get a good hit out, and then just it's a good gauge in terms of where they are in terms of their physicality, their stamina, their conditioning, their fitness. And by the looks of things, it looked like a pretty hot day.
It was hot. It wasn't as hot as the Boerland can get. You know,
Okay.
It can get really, really bad, but it wasn't exceptionally hot.
Okay, so I mean, teams can take a lot out of it in terms of combinations, and I'm sure
Well,
a lot
that's
of
the thing is that they when I was speaking to the guys on the side, is they were saying how much they had worked on their combinations, how much they had worked on their game plan, and it just wasn't happening for them on the day. So they were extremely frustrated.
But I think, as Ish said, different strategies for different teams. Some teams just go out there as preparation for the league. Some teams go out there to win it. Although in any competition you play to win it.
Yeah.
But if some teams are realistic and say where we're at and where we want to be, and use this tournament as a stepping stone to where they want to be.
It also gives teams an opportunity to build their depth. So if your under 20s are quite strong and they're coming through into the system, into your club first team, it's a good opportunity to showcase them, you know, what club first team is all about, and give them a taste of that culture of what's it like to play in the sort of big leagues, and prepare them for the league.
Now like I say, you worked with a lot of these club to Vodacom guys already. I mean, you've worked with them with I think the emerging side and so on. With the way that these guys they were quite hard on themselves in terms of not every move was working yet, and you know, and so on. What do you say to the players like that? Like relax a little bit. It's only the first game.
Well, players as well as coaches set themselves very high standards. Like Munib said, you play always to win. You don't play to lose, and perfection, I mean, is one of the top priorities as a player, especially when you're playing in a tournament like the Community Challenge. And as I said, guys can learn a lot from their mistakes, especially in the first 1 or 2 games, and then like teams should use it for just as a stepping stone for leagues.
Yeah, I must say that the size of these guys were just unbelievable. You know, I don't know what they were doing in the off season, but you talk about conditioning. big buggers at Belhar.
But if you look at rugby in general, even in the top leagues and even the lower leagues, people start their conditioning programs earlier and earlier and earlier. I think once the season ends, they take a 2-3 week break and then they go into their pre-season programming. And that just shows how clubs have stepped up and realized how important the pre-season training is.
Yep, and I think that also maybe Belhar is a bit of a draw card. A couple of players, you know, coming to play for Belhar. They're playing in the Community Challenge. They did really well in the. So it's also a bit of an attraction there for people to
You remember in the President's Cup, Belhar reached the final, and they had a very good game in the final as well.
Yeah.
So it shows attraction.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of momentum, especially what they've achieved last year, and you can see they're obviously definitely taking it forward, and that attraction that they've done obviously has brought in a lot of players from abroad, and hopefully it will put them in good stead.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. It's going to be. I think it's going to be a good season for Belhar, but you know they've still got a couple of tough teams to come up against. Let's quickly now catch up with the coach of Roses, Daniel Ruman, of course coaching at Roses, and asked to speak to coaches from some of the other provinces just to find out their feeling on rugby. Right mense, ons is hier in Wellington vandag in Pelican Park. Roses United het vandag teen Belhar gespeel. Goeie begin vir die seisoen. Ek meen dit nou nie hele kant toe gegaan nie, maar julle boys het nogal lekker gespeel.
Ja, op die oomblik ons is 'n klomp jong manne wat regtig die rugby wil speel, en ons het maar kom ouens ja laas by mekaar gekry want ons het bietjie gesukkel verlede jaar. Maar die jaar is ons top op ons game en die jong manne wil rugby speel vir die jaar.
Daniel, julle ouens het al in die Community Cup ook gespeel. Hoeveel verskil sou jy sê is tussen Community Cup en Community Challenge?
Ek sal eintlik sê daar is 'n groot verskil nie. Ja, daar is, maar nie so groot nie want die Community Challenge en die Community Cup is hier baie differensie van op die einde van die dag is ons ouens was al daar en baie van die manne het ook al daar gespeel. So vir my is eintlik 'n verskil in die Community Cup en die Winter Challenge.
Nou wat is die volgende stap vorentoe vir julle ouens?
Ons vat maar stap vir stap. Op die oomblik die Community Challenge probeer ons maar ons manne by mekaar bring. Ons eintlike doel wat is om die liga weer vir 2015 van die Boland te wen.
Okay, luister. Daniel, best of luck. Ons sien uit om vir julle in die WP se kant te sien.
Okay, dankie.
So, I don't know, what do you think it's nice for those folks to be on TV, eh?
Yeah, you can hear by the words from the coach that he's saying he's giving a lot of youngsters opportunity and they're stepping up. So, as I said, it's an opportunity for guys in the system, for the youngsters coming up into the clubs and playing first team.
Yeah. Munib, you've been quite involved with this Boland versus Western Province scenario. It's not easy for the Boland clubs out there, right?
No, it's not easy, and especially the distances. And if you look at where the Cape Town teams have to travel to, it's like a day out in the Boland.
Yeah.
So the supporters and that all go along. But it's the heat in the Boland is very demanding.
Yeah.
If I just look at one of the other games, the SK Warmers game, they started half an hour later.
Just to cool down.
Because of the heat.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're going to get into some of the results of the rest of the results in the Community Challenge in a second or so. Let's catch up now with the captain of Roses, Geoffrey Ellis. Folks, with me now is Geoffrey Ellis, of course, the captain here of Roses United in Pelican Park in Wellington. It is the Community Challenge, didn't go your way today, but watching those guys run that ball in the back line, yeah, you happy with the start?
Yeah, I think there's a few positives that we can take out of this game. I think we are a young side. This is our first game in the Community Challenge, and from here on, we're just going to go forward into Community Cup. And I mean, I think it was a good first half. I think the few decisions didn't go our way, but at the end of the day, there was a good game of rugby. I think it was a hard game of rugby, and I think our backline sparked a lot. There's a few negative aspects of the game that we need to work on the practice field. But I mean, well done to the boys. I think we set ourselves a goal that we want to do good in this Community Cup, and this was just the first game. So our next game is Falsbaai away, so it's going to be another tough one. But I think our guys will be up for the challenge.
You've got some big guys there and you've got a lot of pace in the back line. Tell us a little bit more about your players here at Pelican Park. Where are the guys all from the Wellington area?
I think we are a community team.
Yeah.
Like Roses, situated here in Pelican Park at the Boland. And then we also have a few players from the Paul area, that's in the Western Province League, that they are playing here at Roses, and they're enjoying their game here. And like I said, it's a new team, it's a new ball game for us this year, so we need to ball them that new players and give them game time forward.
How's the gears here with the boys?
You know, it's absolutely amazing. You didn't get the chance to see the clubs here, but next time if we play our home game, we can invite the clubs as well.
Fantastic stuff, Geoffrey. Lekker game for you guys, and we hope to see you guys in the Cape Town side soon.
Thank you very much, and just thank you to Western Province and for Saro for this great opportunity to play in this Community Challenge.
Yeah, it's lekker. It's good fun. Eh?
Yeah, thanks, man. Thank you.
Well, Geoffrey Ellis seems to be positive there. They're up against Falsbaai next week. Munib, Falsbaai, they came up out of Super League B the year before. They've had a good season.
Falsbaai is looking devastating this year. It's the first game only, but I mean, the score that they put up is quite phenomenal. So it's going to be a tough encounter for Roses next week. But like the captain said, you know, that they're taking out positives wherever they are, and the youngsters are obviously coming to the party. So it's good experience, good game time. Game time, just much needed before the league starts.
So Mark Willett, of course, the coach at Bellard. Let's catch up now with Mark Rostraition at Cape Rugby TV. Right, folks, we're here in Wellington. Of course, it was victory for Bellard. Good start to the Community Challenge for you, Mark.
Yes, as I said earlier on, I'm a happy coach. It's the first game of the season. You don't want to expect too much. You rather work, you know, on the good things and the things that didn't go so well. You know, back to the drawing board for Monday, and we'll sort it out as time progresses.
Just looking at the Boerland players, would you say there's a difference between the Boerland players and the Western Province style? I saw them really running the ball quite a lot and very wide.
Yeah, good handling skills. Early in the season, it quite amazed me. They like to throw the ball around. You need to put up the phases against them, to pull them in, and then things will go your way, and the gaps will start happening. But if you play their game in their favor, it can count definitely against you.
How do you work out? I mean, when we play in the league, you know exactly who the teams are that you're playing against. How do you know what's going on with these Boerland guys? I mean, they're a fresh surprise every week.
Yeah, I mean, we use this competition to build for the league. To be quite honest, we like to win, but it's not emphasis is not on winning. We want to build our team, make it stronger. Yes, it is every week. It will be a new start for us. Maybe a little bit of game fright in the beginning because we don't know them quite well. But that is rugby. I mean, I think it's a great competition. Making new friends, building a great future, and well done to Western Province and Boerland for making this competition happen.
Well, we'll see you guys home ground next week up against Vredenburg.
Thank you very much, JP.
There we go, folks. Community challenge is underway. Of course, the next week, Bellard take on Vredenburg. We'll have to see how the rest of the guys are doing. We're back with you guys after the break. The captain of Bellard, and I'm quite impressed to see how he's matured as a player over the years from being a quiet wing on the one side. Anyway, Cheslin Roberts, let's catch up with him now, the captain of Bellard. Right, folks, the community challenge is finally kicked off. It's, of course, home ground for Roses United, playing here in Wellington. Home ground advantage. With me, this captain of Bellard, Cheslin Roberts. Cheslin, lekker start for you guys. Huh?
It was a nice start. We'll take it any day will come. I know it's going to be. We knew it was going to be hard. Roses, they never give up. They played till the last whistle. So we had to put in the hard yards and keep working forward. But at the end of the day, we got the result and we're happy with it.
Just tell us a little bit about your preparations. I mean, you hardly had any time off after we saw you guys last at Newlands and that, of course, that famous victory at City Park. How long was the break, and then when did you guys come back to training?
We actually started a bit too late for my liking. But anyhow, that's how it goes. The prep, the coaches had all the plans in order. And for us players to just go out there and practice hard and come on a Saturday and just deliver. That's all basically that we had to do.
You got a couple of big boys in the team there. It looks like the guys put on a bit of size over the holidays.
The guys definitely put in extra yards, and I'm sure you guys can see it at the end of the day on the field. The guys are putting the hard yards and they're playing 80 minutes. That's important at the end of the day.
I just got to ask you, Adrian, your boot was looking really good on the park today as well. He looks like he's also got some backline leadership skills there. You must be proud.
I'm definitely proud of him. His game is developing each day, each year, game in, game out. And he's actually developing to a great player at the moment. He must just keep his feet on the ground and just looking forward and just keep working hard.
That's the big thing. Yeah. Listen, best of luck for Vredenburg next week.
Thank you, JP.
Here we go. Welcome back, folks. Yes, there. Cheslin Roberts, of course, the captain of Bellard. Lots of experience there. He's played for Bellard. He's played for UWC. I think he played for Munib. He played for Boerland for a bit.
He played for Boerland as well. And since he came back from Boerland, you could see he's developed his game more. And he's devastating in club rugby. I rate him.
Yeah, I mean, Ish, when you find a good wing, you keep him. Eh?
Yeah, hold on to him. Pace is a non-negotiable, and he's got gas to burn.
Yeah, Carlin Niles.
Yeah.
Carlin Niles, you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah?
Yeah, when everyone knows Carlin Niles. They kept saying in that sevens match, well, we'll get to the sevens a little bit later, folks. We'll take an ad break. When we come back, we'll look at the rest of the results in the Community Challenge. We'll be back with you in a sec. So yes, welcome back, folks. As I said, the Community Challenge, of course, has now kicked off. The first round has now been decided, and let's take a look at the results there. False Bay, they travelled away to Vredenburg. 83 points to 13 for them over the weekend. Big result. As you saw there, Roses United going down to Belhar. Saldanha losing to Paarl, 30 points to 24. Never Despair out in Malmesbury beating SK Warmers by just 1 point, and Houston beating Primrose 20 points to 7. All right, gentlemen, let's take a look at those results there. Munib, we'll start with you. False Bay beating Fredenburg 83 points. I mean, that's what we were talking about now. Roses coming out, and they're going to be taking on False Bay. And False Bay has to be one of the sides, if you're going to pick them for the community challenges. It's one of the teams you could be putting your money on.
That's true if you look at the result.
Yeah.
But Belhar will also be very competitive, and so is all the other teams. But that result, 83-13, is awesome. If you look at the players that False Bay has acquired in the off-season, I mean, I think I can throw it in there. They've acquired the SK Warmers captain, Adnan Osman.
Is Nani playing at False Bay?
That's correct.
No, are you serious?
I am very serious. They've got Mustaqim Jappi also of Collegians.
From Collegians, the man wat so deur die lug vlieg every time with he's must takes off like a bullet before, yeah.
So the backline looks devastating.
So those are some serious players. But okay, so good stuff there too. Good luck for the guys. I think that they want to maybe test the waters at other teams, and wish them the very best of luck. And then, of course, Saldanha. Well, the Paul guys all come together now. Those are all the Paul teams.
Paul region.
Yeah,
that's the Paul region.
The Paul region. Yeah. So there's a lot of teams that make up that Paul side.
So it's a very strong side then, because it's a regional side. And I mean, Paul, there's some very, very good clubs in Paul. You got your Vineyards, you got your, the various other clubs around the Paul region. So that's a good result for Paul. I know the Western Province emerging team or Club Tevalukan team played them last week, and they did quite well as well. So that team has gelled, and they've played quite a bit together. So it's not generally a new team with very new combinations.
And they've of course been working.
But what that concept has done for Paul Rugby itself, it sort of united all the teams, and there's something to play for. And that is their provincial team that plays against the other teams.
Do they have a Paul United out there? They don't have a Paul United, eh? This is what this team should be called, the Paul United. There's a Peril United.
There's a Peril, yeah.
Peril United. I don't know if there's any Peril United players in this team. Because we saw, I think last year, the opening game was something like 130 nil.
But from what I've heard, the entire Paul region supports this team. That is their provincial team. And it's good for Paul Rugby on the whole.
Yeah, and it's nice to see how Western Province has sort of taken him under the wing. I think Peter Jooster and a couple of the guys, Danny Jones, has worked quite hard, and Jerome as well, has worked quite hard on supporting the Paul side. And I know that Mario Williams, the chairman of the Paul region, they've done a heck of a lot to make sure the Paul region guys are doing. Anyway, let's move closer to your side now, Munib. SK Warmers going down by 1 point to the Malmesbury side, Never Despair.
That's correct, JP. I wasn't at the game, but I was getting updates, and at halftime, SK Warmers was actually ahead.
Yeah.
20-0. And then with 10 minutes left, we were ahead 27-14, and then I just got the SMS. They lost on time. But
that's 2 quick tries and conversions.
That's correct.
With 10 minutes to go.
And the problem is, SK Warmers had the same problem they had last year in the President's Cup. They didn't have a kicker, and they scored 4 tries. They only converted 1 try, and that was the difference at the end of the day.
Oh, Nani.
But saying that too, Ish alluded to it earlier on. If you look at the SK backline they had for Saturday, they only had 1 regular in, was Mikael Hartley. All the others were youngsters to try them out and see if they can take the step up to the plate. So it was a good experience for the youngsters too.
Who's coaching at SK this year?
Ashik Wise.
Ashik Wise?
Yeah, still there.
From Wise Electrical?
Yes. That's correct.
Hey, yeah.
Let's hope he put some spark into the team.
Former Western Province scrum half?
That's correct.
Yeah. And Pumas.
And Pumas, yeah. Ashik Wise.
He's under 21.
And he's been involved with SK for quite a long time. And I think his father also involved there, or has been sort of a mentor.
Yeah, his father was actually from Silver Tree Rugby Club.
Yeah.
But his father is his mentor, because his dad is at every game, coaching, guiding and that. So yeah.
Yeah, so if you want your electric sorted out, you go down to
advertising,
go down Lansdowne Road, and you just go next to the fish and chip shop,
likewise.
and you'll see likewise the we all sort of know each other here. I tell you, it's a small world. But Ashik Wise, I mean, he brings a lot of experience to the side.
Definitely.
So what?
I must say, SK Warmers has a very young side. If you thought last year they had a young side, they have actually a younger side this year.
Are some of those guys in SK's younger side from last year, are they still in the picture?
Yeah, that's correct. and we just added a few. When we every year SK lose to other clubs,
Yeah.
and as you can see year by year the big names go and go. But I think as a club, that is SK's strategy for the years. Let's see what we can do with our youngsters.
Well, it's the first game. 27-8. It's only 1 point. Maybe maybe it's one of those things of when you're leading, you've got 10 minutes to go, and you're leading. What have we spoken about so many times? Is that composure? Is how do you shut the game down, or do you start doing silly things like kick the ball back to the other side?
Apparently there were a few silly things happening in the last 10 minutes. We
That's
spotted
just
two tries.
decision making. You've got to be saying, I don't need to score one more try.
And that's also got to do with experience. As I said, there was lots of youngsters in the back line, and as time goes on, they will learn and learn.
And that's the only way, I mean, these youngsters will learn. You got to put them in that situation where they've got to experience the heat of the moment, the heat of the battle. It's no use coaching them off the field and telling them what to do in certain situations. They've got to take that, what you've coached them off the field, and apply it on the field.
Yeah. One of the other matches, and Munib, you'll know this team as well as you, Ish. Of course, we saw that match SK against Primrose last year after the March, and it was home ground advantage for Primrose, and it came down to a draw.
Who could forget?
Hey? Who could forget? What a game! Unbelievable. And again, it came down to those final kicks at the end there. Primrose going down to Houston. Houston's a strong side, but Primrose 3 points. I'm not sure what they'll take out of it, but it's a start.
We played Austin last year twice actually, SK Warmers, and in both occasions we lost to them closely. But to go play out in Austin in that heat is something else. I can tell you that. And apparently it was very hot there on Saturday.
I'm just wondering how the Primrose O's got through the roadblocks, because you can't bring Perlemoen back with you. Anyway, I believe that the Perlemoen is now you're not allowed to take Perlemoen out at all anymore. Well, how sad is that? If you're an old Perlemoen guy, then you'll know what I'm talking about. It's one of my sorest points in terms of South Africa's coastal waters. So I know we can't ask people to bring Perlemoen back from Houston, but if it was still in season, we would definitely be asking you to bring a couple of Pearlies back with you. But that's rather sad. So yeah, Houston's a good side, and I think it's one of the on the Boland side, maybe one of the teams to watch out for.
And
all right,
that is SK Warmers' opponents this weekend.
You guys, SK Women's up against Austin this week. All right, let's take a look at the fixtures then this coming weekend. It's False Bay are up against Roses United, as we mentioned. Belhar take on Vredenburg. Vredenburg, of course, took a bit of a hiding against False Bay over the weekend. Paarl take on Never Despair. SK Women's take on Houston. And Primrose and Saldanha. Okay, so if we just look at some of those results there, the big one, of course, False Bay and Vredenburg. Now, Belhar are going to be taking some strength and they from their victory over Roses, and they'll be taking on Vredenburg. Vredenburg are going to be, they're going to be a little bit under a bit of a shock still.
They're going to be tested, and especially playing away to Belhar.
Home ground.
Not very easy to play at that ground. Belhar will come out firing, and they'll take a lot out of their first game. And I can assure you, those mistakes that they made in the first game, they'll probably iron them out.
I must say, it was actually quite lucky to be at Roses. I think there were more Belhar fans than there were Roses fans there. And when we got there, when Cape Rugby arrived, we knew everybody around the field.
It was like a home game for you.
It was a home game for me almost. But it was fantastic, the Belhar guys out there. Primrose against Saldanha. Who's coaching at Primrose this year? Do we know?
As far as I know, Herman Masimla.
Herman Masimla, he's been coaching there for a while.
What I've heard, but I can't confirm that Kabamba Floors is helping out with the coaching as well.
Kabamba Floors?
Yeah.
Has he still got the same haircut?
I don't know, I haven't seen him in years, but probably.
All right, yeah. So Primrose against Saldanha. If we just look there, Saldanha, they went down to the Paarl region over the weekend. So this is home ground advantage for Primrose. Primrose can probably take this one.
I hope Primrose take this one, and they'll probably fancy themselves against them. Obviously, home ground advantage. Being the second game, they will look to grab this one. And
they made quite a statement last year in some of the games that they played. I mean, Primrose had a good season. I know they didn't start off that well, but in terms of making their bones in Super League A, so to speak, they made a good statement.
Well, obviously that first couple of games was a bit tough, getting used to a different pace, coming from another league up into a different league is a bit difficult and can be a teething process, especially that first 2 games or 3 games. But they've done exceptionally well, and they're definitely using this as a stepping stone, I know, for leagues to come.
Yeah,
I think that game has been played at City Park on Saturday, from my information.
Primrose Saldanha playing at City Park?
That's correct.
Think they'll take the gate? All right then. Well, I'll tell you what we will
You're a
take.
funny man, eh?
I'm a funny man, yeah. We know the kind of questions people ask in club rugby. We know what's going to get
You're
asked.
asking the right man here. Eh?
Yeah. No, I don't think Munib's head of finance. I think he's head of transformation, which is probably the more important position. How's transformation going?
It's going well. We'll have our first meeting next week.
Okay, let's leave it at that for now. We're going to come back to the transformation. We'll come back to you after your meeting, actual fact.
Okay.
All right, folks, we'll take an ad break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at the Varsity Cup, the results and the fixtures. Of course, the Varsity Shield results and fixtures, as well as the Community Cup fixtures. All that and more after the break. Back in a sec. Hello folks, welcome back. Yes, it is of course Cape Rugby TV. It's Wednesday night. Remember, the Vasco Tavern, and you can get down there and have yourself a lekker espetado or fantastic Greek, at least Portuguese dinner, valued at 250 Rand. Just estimate the word Vasco to 33280. 33280. Get your cell phones handy. Competition's still running during the course of the show. You win yourself a 250 Rand meal voucher to the Vasco Tavern. Okay, so that's very, very lekker chow there for all Club Rugby fans. Varsity Cup, of course, has also kicked off now. Let's quickly look at the results there. NMMU against CUT. They came out with a victory in Port Elizabeth, 34-13. UJ losing to Shimlas in Johannesburg. Tuks 39-24 over UCT. That's a bit of a surprise. And then Marties for the second consecutive week with another draw, 26-all against Puka at Stellenbosch. All right, let's look at those results there, folks. I don't know how much time you had to watch any of the Varsity Cup, but if we look at NMMU, victory for them, we'll skip right past them. We'll skip past UJ and Shimlas. But UCT, that was a bit of a surprise, losing to Tuks 39-24.
After
Tuks is not a bad team. In fact, they're very good. I think they're the champions, not last year, but the previous year,
Yeah.
for 2 years in a row. So they're not bad at all. And it was away as well, so it must have been tough for UCT.
I suppose, UCT also coming off that memory of last year, the championship side, the historical unbeaten side, running off a high. We can't expect them to deliver that kind of performance every single time. That was probably the biggest comeback in the world of rugby, to see them, I think put on 25 or 30 points in the last 5 minutes. It was an away game as well for UCT. So what do we take out of this? They measure it against the fact that Tuks is a good side.
Tuks is probably one of the sides of the Varsity Cup. I think UCT will take a lot from last week's effort. I mean, to pull the rabbit out of the hat against Marties last week must have taken a lot of toll from them. So Kevin will obviously have a good chat with these guys, and they'll know what to work on going forward.
Yeah, it's sometimes a good thing to take this little loss, especially if it's an away loss,
and especially very early on. So it gives you opportunity to look at your team from a broad perspective and say, listen, this is where we're going. This is what we need to work on, and this is what we need to do in order to get there.
Because Munib, one can easily get overconfident.
That's correct, but I don't think that's the case with UCT. I mean, I've watched them last week. They were very good. But as I said once again, Tuks is a good side.
Good side, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course Marties. Now, this is now the second week in a row that they've come up with a draw. They drew against UCT last week. It was home ground advantage for Marties. I didn't get to watch this game. Did any of you have a chance to watch this game? But
I watched the game.
You watched the game?
I must say, after 10 minutes, Marties were behind 16-0. And then Marties came to lead the game. And it was backwards and forwards. And then in the last minute, Tuks,
NMMU.
No.
In Puka, sorry.
Puka,
yeah.
could have actually won the game if that guy just had to score the try, but they just pushed him out just by the line.
What do you make of Puka? Good side?
Good side. I mean, I look at it will be between Tukish, Marties, UCT, Puka.
All right. So is Marties still as... I mean,
very young side. They've got a few experienced guys. If you look at JP Lewis, Wilhelm van der Sluys, they've got a few experienced guys, but they've got quite a bit of talented youngsters in their team.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the action photographs now, of course, that we managed to get from the guys of Varsity Cup. Tuks against UCT. Let's check the action pics. Nice little couple of action shots there. Of course, Tuks against UCT. And nice to also just bring you a little bit of the visual to show you what that would look like on the side of the field. The other visual, of course, was Marties against Pucker. Let's catch your action shots. Marties against Pucker. Welcome back. Yes, of course, a couple of action shots there. Varsity Cup once again in full flight. One of those sort of real entertainment events that if you are at a university, you can get down and go and have a little bit of fun. Let's quickly look at those Varsity Cup fixtures now. That's for next week on the 23rd of February. CUT takes on Shimlers in Bloemfontein. UCT up against NMU in Cape Town. Of course, UCT at home on the Green Mile. And then UJ take on Pucker and Joburg, and Tuks are against Marties. So Marties having to play away in Pretoria. Let's look at the Varsity Shield results now. UKZN going down to Wits, 56 points to 13. So a good win there for Wits. And then UWC, they'll be happy with the result after the weekend, 21 points to 18. Munib, UWC, after they lost last week, they'll be happy to come away with this result, especially considering that they played away.
I think it's a very good result, especially away. I think they took the learnings out of last week, and hopefully they will do very well in the tournament going forward.
Let's look at some of the action picks now from UWC in the match there. And yeah, I'm sure Peter de Villiers and the guys will be very happy with their result. A couple of nice action scenes there, courtesy of the guys at the Varsity Cup, and as I said, it's all entertainment and very professionally done, very well organised. It's the kind of event that if you go to a Varsity Cup game, you know there's going to be entertainment and a lot of fan value, and I think that's very important today. Of course, the Varsity Cup also plays these different rules, and it's been made kind of interesting, Yes?
Yeah, you have these, as you said, these different rules, and it's amazing how the players are adapting very quickly to them. If only they could be added to the leagues, to make interesting rugby, especially with the type of jerseys that the props are wearing, the various marks that you can call.
Do you think so? Do you think it's something you want to add to the leagues? I'm happy with a jumping castle and a potjie course and a chicken biryani.
No, well, obviously the Varsity Cup is your experimentation ground for rugby, so that's where you test sort of where things work and where they cannot work. I think you've got to still stick to the old style, traditional. Don't tamper too much with something that's working.
Yeah, leave that up to the referees. All right, let's look at the fixtures now coming in the Varsity Shield. This is on Thursday as well. UWC tomorrow night up against Fort Hare and UWC home ground advantage. Wits take on TUT in Johannesburg. So there's quite a lot of action there. Tomorrow night you want to get down to UW's Go and check UW's take on Fort Hare. Fort Hare, of course, travelling all the way out of Alice as they come down to Cape Town. That's quite a trip. I tell you guys, Fort Hare having to come down here. It's a bus trip, and I'm not sure if they're flying, but it's a bus trip up and there's a bus trip. When I say up, I mean it's north, and then out and around the province, and then it's a long way for those guys.
I'm sure they will be flying.
You think they're flying?
Yeah.
All right. Well, they still got to take the bus to the airport, which is a long trip on its own. Okay, so the Community Cup is, of course, the other tournament that's underway now. Remember, folks, Vasco Tavern is one of the places where the Hamilton Rugby guys go and eat. So the Vasco Tavern, 33280. Get your cell phones handy. Keep SMSing in, and you can put yourself in the mix to win a 250 Rand dinner voucher to the Vasco Tavern. Community Cup fixtures now. Evergreens take on Worcester Villagers. We're going to just skip through a couple here. We're going to look through the Cape Town fixtures. Durbell and Old Selbornian. So Durbell are playing away. And then Hamilton's again playing away against Sishen. This is on the 21st of February, Saturday. Kickoff times there at 4 o'clock. So good luck to Hamilton's and good luck to Durbell as well. Both those sides, I think, looking quite strong here. Have you had any taste of Durbells or Hamiltons this year yet, Manib?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But I know that both teams has put in lots of preparation for this tournament, and both teams want to win this tournament.
Yeah, no, I think that they're off to a start as well. Not sure. I was on them. Yeah. Okay. Let's quickly look now at the Super Rugby results. Of course, Super 15. We'll do that right after the ad break. Okay, so of course the other big tournament that kicked off over the weekend, it was the Super 15. Back in action now, the Stormers played their first away game up against the Bulls. Let's look at the results now over the weekend. Crusaders going down to the Rebels, 20 points to 10 in Christchurch. The Brumbies beating the Reds, 47-3 at Canberra. The Lions going down to the Hurricanes. The Blues losing to the Chiefs. The Sharks going down to Cheetahs, and of course the Bulls losing to the Stormers, and the Waratahs, well, they went down to the Force, 25-13. All right, so out of, you guys know that we do the Super Brew fixtures. I picked Stormers to beat the Bulls by 12, and they beat the Bulls by 12. Yeah. Every other fixture I got wrong.
Sure. If you just look at the results, the only home team that won was the Brumbies. All the away teams won.
It was one of those. I mean, what is going on here? Is it one of those that it's just the first game, or is it that we just don't know how the teams are they're different? Players have shifted around. I mean, we saw probably 10 or 12 results go against the grain here. Crusaders lose, but we know that they lose.
Always start off very
slow. They always start off slow, but I really thought that this time.
Not against the Force, yeah.
Not against the Force, yeah.
But if you look at the Force team over
against the Rebels, at least.
The Rebels. If you look at the Rebels team over the past 2 years, they've been gaining momentum. There's some games where they just lost, and last year they pulled off an upset or two. So they've put into the hard yards. The
other big one, which I kind of expected to happen because they've been ups and downs with the Brumbies. The Brumbies, they came out, and we knew that it was just a matter of time before they settle again.
But the Reds are looking weak. Very weak. It's like they don't want to play rugby.
They just kind of never seem to find that extra gear, like they don't click in.
That's correct.
I think that this first week you just got to put out of the way, and look forward to some exciting rugby. I mean, if that's what Super Rugby is all about, then we don't know what's in for us. Super Brew predictions are going to be out of the window. Guys are going to get them wrong horribly. This is going to be the trend.
It's going to be a shocker, but I don't think so. I think it's going to start settling down now. The Super Brew predictions will become easier because we've got a flavour now of how it is. Well, I don't know. As I said, I managed to get one right, and that was it. A bit of a shock for the Sharks. A lot of people also thought that the Sharks were going to win home ground against the Cheetahs, or did we think the Cheetahs were going to win?
I always gave the Cheetahs a chance. If you look at the Cheetahs team, they're always playing an exciting brand of rugby, and I always give them a chance against anyone.
Yeah.
In South Africa.
The type of rugby the Cheetahs play is very expansive, very sort of throwing the ball around type style. Obviously, with the Springbok-laden Shark side, you expect them to come up trumps, especially with the home game. But the Cheetahs have done many teams a favour by beating the Sharks a couple of times over the years in their own home ground. So I don't think it's too much of a surprise.
All right, let's take a look at the main game, the game that we all probably enjoyed watching the most, the Stormers beating the Bulls.
No surprise at all.
No surprise?
No.
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean,
if you're going to insist on playing Victor Matfield again and again and again, is it really? I mean, did he have any impact on the field?
not at all. He even lost a couple of
He
lineouts.
lost a couple of lineouts. How's this new prop from Koch? What's Vincent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was awesome,
Strong.
strong, and mobile.
Yeah.
He could get over the park.
What's amazing is that it's a lot of youngsters and not sort of names in the Stormer side that actually trumped a couple of Springboks. You got your Adrian Strauss, your
Yeah.
Victor Matfield,
Yeah.
Trevor Nyakani. I mean, those guys are Springboks, and you get these sort of no names and beat them comfortably.
But you see,
But isn't that half of our Curry Cup team that we played there? On
exactly,
Saturday?
I always have a saying, if you're good enough, you're old enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
And youngsters are fearless and they're hungry.
And in the week, Alistair Coetzee said that they're happy to take the underdog tag, and they ran with it, and it came up.
Damien De Allende, great game. Eh?
Oh,
Yeah, awesome.
superb, and he put his hand up for World Cup selection, definitely.
Yeah, for World Cup. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Still early.
I tell you something, I will be blown away if we don't see in the next 2 years this hooker Mbonane playing for the Springboks. If he's big, he's strong, and he is fast. I mean, the turnovers, he came on and he reminded me a little bit, he's a little bit like a Skalkberger. He hits the ground, he bounces straight back up, and he goes for the ball.
Remember, he had a point to prove as well, coming from the Bulls,
Yeah.
and wanting to showcase, listen, this is what you guys have lost. So, but he just brings that extra dynamic flair to the game.
Yeah.
Sky's was great as well.
Yeah.
So the Stormers are blessed with 2 quality hookers, and it's going to be exciting times this year.
I think it was a great purchase. I mean, hopefully he stays in Province.
I think the hookers complement each other, different type of hookers. So when you need them in the game, you alternate them. But
Yeah.
but they both are good.
Well, I think Alistair worked his bench quite well. He played brought them all in at the right time.
Yeah. It's a team effort, and obviously he said in the week that obviously with starved game time for a lot of the members, you look at Nizam, I mean, it was his first game. He was laid down with sickness for a couple of weeks, and he came on sort of in the last 20 minutes. He took off the props at about 15 minutes. So the load was equally shared amongst the whole squad. So definitely hats off to the coaching staff. I think
Yeah.
they did an excellent job.
Absolutely. Let's look at the Super 15 fixtures coming up now this weekend. The Highlanders take on the Hurricanes in Dunedin. The Rebels are up against the Lions in Melbourne. So it's an away match for the Lions. They've got a bit of travelling to do. That's on Friday. Then, of course, on Saturday at 8:35 in the morning, it's the Crusaders and the Cheetahs. Cheetahs travelling as well. The Bulls take on the Force in Pretoria. That's a Saturday afternoon at 5:05. Then just after that, the Sharks take on the Chiefs in Durban at 7:10. Of course, the Waratahs are up against the Brumbies in Sydney on a Sunday morning. And don't forget, the Stormers are playing this weekend at Newlands. It's going to be home ground advantage for the Stormers.
Blues.
So they're up against the Blues. The Blues are going to be, they're a good side. But there again, they're travelling.
Exactly.
The Stormers will take them. Huh?
Definitely. I mean, we've got the momentum going forward. We've got one away game under the belt, so it's a mere formality this weekend.
Mere formality is the Stormers get down to Newlands this coming weekend. It's going to be a cracker of a match. This also, some more activity over the weekend. It's the Helderberg Extreme Sevens. 30 teams playing, at least that's on the 25th the next week. So just get your heads up there, folks. The Helderberg Extreme Sevens. 30 teams will be taking part there. So you've got a lot of opportunity to get out there. Let's quickly look at the Extreme Sevens clubs competing there at the Helderberg tournament. Marty's, UWC, St. George's, Helderberg, Strand, Milnerton, Hamilton's, the West Midlands Rugby Academy, Young People's, and Wraithby all playing there. Congratulations then to last week's winner of the Vasco tournament, Seaton Nolan. Seaton walks away with dinner at the Vasco Tavern valued at 250 Rand. Congratulations to Seaton. Seaton, your voucher is on its way to you. The guys will get in touch with you. And, of course, you can SMS to 33280 the word Vasco to put yourself in the mix to win a dinner for two at the Vasco, or as many as you like, to the value of 250 Rand. Let's quickly look at our Super Brew pool, the leaderboard then. Honeyball takes the cap over the weekend. Honeyball comes out on top in first place. Raza Waza, Kenny Sparks, Forest Fern, Ace, Zboo, 0123, Rudy, Sean, Iceman, and Cupcake. Those are your top 10 in the Cape Rugby TV Super Brew pool. If you still want to join us and you've still got some pool spaces left, come out and join the Cape Rugby TV Super Brew pool. It's absolutely great fun, and it really does sort of put you a little step closer to what's happening in the world of Super Rugby. Very exciting. All right, folks, of course, Cape Rugby TV will be out this weekend at SK Warmers. Munip, we'll be watching you guys this weekend.
Okay, you're always welcome.
I was about to ask you, are we welcome?
No, you're always welcome.
Now, we're looking forward to you guys this weekend. It's going to be exciting. You ready for it?
Yeah, every game is a new challenge, and we want to win every game. So yeah, Boston, we're waiting.
We would have liked to go to check out how False Bay are doing, because after that big win, that was a nice call. But, of course, they're playing against Roses. So we can't do Roses twice in a week.
Okay.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me on Cape Rugby TV. Munib, we'll catch up with you soon again about the transformation stuff, and have a lucky rugby weekend.
Yeah, I will. Same to you.
Best luck to Ashik and the boys.
Thank you very much.
And Ish, we'll drag you out here. I know you got practice and all that kind of stuff, so good luck to the guys at Milnerton. I know that you've got that big Milnerton Rugby Day coming up soon as well.
Yeah, we'll chat about that in the upcoming weeks. Thank you.
Fantastic. Looking forward to it. Right, folks, that's a wrap from us. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place. Have yourself a fantastic rugby weekend. We'll see you, of course, at SK Warmers. Make sure you're there, and we'll see you on the park at Newlands. Cheers. Bye-bye.